Carley Rutledge. Please state your name, who you represent, how you're testifying on the bill.
My name is Carley Rutledge. I am representing the Rutledge Foundation in Fort Worth, and I am testifying in support of this bill.
Thank you. Please proceed.
There are 3 acts of my life so far. The first was filled with happy, foggy memories of childhood, of sunscreen, books, music, summer camp, and my first job. The bliss of youth. As the music of my life swelled into a crescendo, I turned 16, and then there was a crash. All of the instruments fell to the floor. As if you had just noticed someone shouting at you over the music in your headphones, it was ripped from my ears. There was a doctor whose face I cannot remember. She had brown hair. She was talking right at me. I began to comprehend the words she was saying, the ones that changed my life forever. You have cancer. You will lose your hair. You will have chemo. You will be sick. I thought that these were the words that would haunt me forever. But the words that stayed with me, the ones that cut like a knife when you're least expecting it, that haunt your sleepless nights, those were the words that were not said to me. They told me that I would lose so many things: my hair, my friends, education, and time. But nobody told me that I would lose my children. If I said that at only 16 years old I hadn't even thought of children in my life yet, I would be lying. I have been driven by motherhood most of my life, surrounded by powerful women as long as I can remember. I am born of matriarchs. I am a matriarch. I learned from my grandmothers, my sister, and my mother how to give yourself to those around you. And there has never been a moment in my life where I doubted motherhood. Not even when 7 years after my diagnosis, for the first time in my life, I was told that because of chemotherapy, I would bear no children of my own. The doctor looked at me and asked if I had any questions. I knew what I wanted to ask, but I didn't know if I wanted to know. As someone who rarely shies away from truth or reality, I asked, did chemo do this to me, or did cancer do this to me? She looked at me and said one word: chemo. I asked her one last question. Could it have been avoided? She looked at her papers as if to check the facts, but she knew. Yes, yes. It takes 2 weeks to harvest eggs from a patient. From the time between my diagnosis and the beginning of my treatment, there was 14 days. 2 weeks. Just enough time. I used to think that my life changed in one day, the day that they told me that I had cancer. But my hair grew back. I got better. I went to college. I have a master's degree. I built a life, one riddled with PTSD and all of the other struggles associated with cancer survival. But all of those things that they told me I would lose, I got them back. My life actually changed over the course of 14 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's how many times someone woke up and decided not to tell me about fertility preservation. That's how long it took for it to be decided for me that I cannot be a mother to my own child. That is how long it took for it to be decided for me that anyone that I want to marry has to accept that fact. That's how long it took for it to be decided for me that I can never look at my child and see my eyes or hear my laugh. 14 days. In fewer days than it took for motherhood to be stripped from me, you can make sure this never happens to another cancer survivor. Cancer is enough to be getting along with. All we ask is that you don't allow the possibility of parenthood to be taken away as well. Thank you.
Any questions, members? Ms. Rutledge, you represent the Rutledge Foundation. Tell
Yes.
me about your foundation.
The Rutledge Foundation was founded in Fort Worth, Texas, where I was treated by my mother and father, Laura and John Rutledge. And this is one of their main initiatives, is to protect the fertility rights of these young adult cancer patients. People don't really think of this age group in the cancer world. We think of babies and adults. So not only are people unaware of their diagnoses, they're unaware of the nature of the problems that are directly associated with that age group.
That's amazing work. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for being here today, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
There are no other witnesses registered to testify. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on, for, or against House Bill 2682? Seeing none, the chair recognizes Chairman Collier to close on her bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. you're faced with a cancer diagnosis, so many things go through your mind. And just like you heard the courageous individuals who came to testify, cancer knows no boundaries. It comes for anyone. And you can feel robbed and a failure at the same time. And you want to hold on to something of yourself. And this bill gives individuals who are in childbearing age that opportunity to salvage what they have. It gives them control, something that you don't have with cancer diagnosis. So I meant to bring this bill last time. Dr. Woodard had came to see me. She drove all the way from Houston. These are doctors here that testified that are in high demand. And I'm sure they're paid very well. But they took time out of their schedule to come and share their stories of their patients with us. Because they don't care about the money. They care about their patients and their access to this most vital piece of their journey. And I remember she would email me and say, "How are you?" A year later, I even went to Houston, and lo and behold, there's a big billboard with her face as soon as I walked into the airport. And that was my reminder. You cannot let this session go. You cannot let this session go without taking this to the people, to you, to consider. So I ask for your favorable consideration, and I close.
I want to thank you for working with the great people from MD Anderson. They're truly doing God's work in that facility. And if you haven't, anyone in the audience or any members haven't been there, it's an amazing place. And like you said, I had my sister there several years ago, and I went to see her, and I went to the cafeteria, and what struck me was cancer doesn't discriminate.
That's right.
I remember a 3-year-old especially, it's just burned in my mind, running around with an IV, happy as can be, didn't realize the gravity of her situation, but just running around and playing like a 3-year-old.
Right.
But in that facility fighting. So thank you for what you're doing today.
Thank you.
The chair will leave House Bill 2682 pending at this time. Chair lays out House Bill 3058.